Yes, yes, Sir Hairless here. Today we are back with a Patreon request. This one is from Anna, so thank you for this one. This is a new artist to the channel. I'd never heard of them, Satur, and the song is Why Don't You Stay. The title here says it's the world tour version, but also the official music video. It looks like he's going to be playing on the piano and singing from the opening thumbnail. I've never heard of Jeff before, and I'm told that this song was in the soundtrack to a TV show he was in. He's an actor as well, apparently. Some people just have all the talent. I kind of just want to get straight into this one, but before we do, I'll put the lyrics on the screen now. So have a pause, have a read of them, and then we'll get straight into the music. It looks like it's a song about a love interest or someone else who essentially heals him. He's not able to take himself out of this slump he's in, but this other person whom he's singing about is.
All this time I sink, drowning like a stone.
Sorry, the video is out of sync with the audio. This is the video itself. I've just checked without my headphones. I will try and sort it out in editing, but if you see instances where his mouth is not aligned in the lyrics, it's because of the video itself.
Drowning like a stone, trying to close my eyes, shut my ears on this throne, losing my way home. Then you came along, everywhere we are, feel like where I belong. Lost in your eyes, there was no place I could hide. Take me inside and let me live in your mind. No pain tonight, this place reserved for only you and I. 'Cause
Okay, I like this. I like it a lot. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know him. I've never heard of him. There are some really interesting and cool things that personally I really like. If you've not seen my videos before, this is where we do our first pause and go over some analysis of what we've just heard before continuing. If you don't want to hear my thoughts or analysis, go to the timestamp. Before we go into it, just my overall first thoughts. I really like his voice, and I'm sure I'll touch on that, but in general, I really do like his voice. If you explained this song to me in an academic way in terms of formalities and structure and the theory side of things, on paper I would not think it would be a song that would move me, but I felt this kind of flow moving through my body and my arms, not quite goosebumps, but something similar. And that's one thing I love about music. And it's ironic me saying this because my channel is very music analysis based, but at the end of the day, if you feel something with music, you feel it, and the rest doesn't really matter. So he starts off, and immediately I liked the opening, the first two chords that we hear on the piano. So the first chord there, we have this C in the bass. Oh, little typo down here, artist. And then the rest of the music is this. And in the right hand, great, a nice standard C major chord, but then the little melody in the right hand does this. And you'll notice when it says what the chord is up here, it will now disappear. And that's because this right hand outline with the sustained chord in the left, this is what we're hearing essentially. It's a mix of two chords. It's not a chord that we can define easily. To me, this outline is of a G chord, which is the chord that comes second. But as we just heard there, he does add in some other non-standard notes as well. So chord 1, unresolved. Chord 2, there's the resolution, but he makes sure to kind of spice up the harmony a little bit. And his playing style, it reminds me of a lot of really famous artists. One that I've seen live would be Elton John, a very, very similar playing style in the sense of how rhythmic the piano is. We have all these passing notes filling out the chords. It's not just chordal, simple playing, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. So the fingers, they'll always be, you know, moving around at some point. He enters with the singing.
all this time I sink,
quite an airy voice, a very light voice. I think a very good choice considering the lyrics.
Drowning like a stone.
A bit more power coming through as he moves up on the next line.
Shut my ears on this throne.
And a little bit of grit in there, a tiny bit of hoarseness on the higher notes. And the piano part.
My way home. Then you came alive.
Against the vocal melody, it does provide these very subtle syncopations, rhythmic offsets. It's a style of piano where it seems a bit improvisatory. How I think of it is you have the chordal structure in your head, you know which chords you're playing, you have the harmonic progression, but when it comes to the little passing notes and everything I was talking about earlier, it's very much at the discretion and the feel of the player. Some people are much more naturally accustomed to this. I don't know Jeff, and I don't know if he is one of these people or if this is how he will always play this song. If you know, let me know in the comments, because I am very curious at this stage.
I feel like I belong.
I like his vibrato style, especially when in conjunction with the air that he's using in his voice. It sounds like quite a slow vibrato, but it's not. I do think we get a bit of a slower vibrato later on. I guess we'll see again. But a slow vibrato with this style of music works really well.
There was no place I could hide.
There's the slow vibrato. And as we just saw on Lost in Your Eyes, he does a very obvious change from chest voice to head voice at the top.
Lost in your eyes, there was no
Then back to chest voice.
place I could hide. Take me inside and let me live in your mind.
I just think it's really nice. He's being careful with his changes to his head voice. I'm sure he could sing more notes in his head voice, but choosing just the top two of each phrase, especially when it goes up and then down one. And here the piano, now we get a chromatic line coming through, rising against the kind of falling motion of those top parts.
Take me inside and let me live in your mind. No pain tonight, this place reserved for only you and I.
And this is where we paused. I think the next bit is the chorus, but there in the piano, we get a very obvious harmonic change now. Things are a bit different from a harmony perspective. So what do we get?
Only you.
So that's outlining, which to me is this B flat chord. But if we listen to the remainder of this run,
Only you and I.
in the bass, we have a C, and I'll play everything in the similar octave. To me, it sounds like C minor, which makes sense to have the C in the bass, the harmonic foundation. And his melody finishes here. That's the sixth note, and to me, it just creates this really nice sounding chord. Yeah, I like it so far. I really like his voice, especially his vibrato and the air he's using. He's careful when he uses his head voice versus chest voice. The piano part good, the harmonic progression mostly fairly standard, except for what we've just arrived at. Well, let's carry on.
'Cause I wanna stay on your side, even if the world come crashing down tonight. We'll be fine. Hold me close and we'll just leave it all behind. Why don't you stay? There's bruises and wounds, fractures on my bones, trying to fix it all, but I felt all alone. But just to be with you, just you lying close, I can see the scars fade away on their own. Lost in your eyes, there was no place I could hide. Take me inside and let me live in your mind. No pain tonight, this place reserved for only you and I. 'Cause I
Okay, looks like we're going back into the chorus. There's a nice, very steady growth progression throughout this song, isn't there? And I do have some questions. Who is this other person that we see on the stage with him? Like I said in the introduction, this is the official music video, it says, but also World Tour version. I thought that might have been a live performance from the World Tour. It's always interesting when an official music video has clips from various concerts. This here, it reminds me of BTS. If you like BTS, by the way, and want to see my previous reactions to them, you can find them all in my playlist up here. All the fans with the lights. There's something quite nice, unifying about it. So from where we carried on,
'Cause
I do like the exaggerated break between the chest and the head voice, as I mentioned earlier. But now it seems the phrasing here in general higher in pitch, so he's using much more of his head voice. This is very head voice dominated compared to the first verse or two, which were chest voice dominated with a couple of carefully selected notes sung in the head voice. I don't know his range. I don't know how high he can go comfortably in his chest voice. I would guess on most of the higher notes, he does have to use the head voice, but if he was going really powerfully, I'd imagine his chest voice would still be fairly high.
wanna stay on your side.
This is interesting because the vocal melody is the same phrase repeated, but the harmony is changing, and that's because the piano chords are changing. But the piano now is very chordal. At the beginning, I was saying how the piano was not chordal. He was getting all these filler notes in there. It's interesting. You might expect that in the chorus at a moment that's a bit more climactic, he's moved up in pitch, this idea of growth, the piano would be a bit more complex, especially rhythmically. But no, he's keeping it simple. Just the chords and his voice, so the pitch of his melody stays and the chords just kind of slowly change. To me, it's quite a comforting song, which I suppose it should be, as again we spoke about the lyrics in the introduction.
Even if the world come crashing down tonight.
They're the two obviously different chords, but from a harmonic perspective, they kind of realign now with the next one.
We'll be fine. Hold me close and we'll just leave it all behind.
He doubles up his melody in the right hand of the piano there. And I see that as quite a nice partnership. His head voice, again, he's exclusively in his head voice here, even at the lower end of the phrase. And I, in some kind of childish way, kind of think of head voice, right hand of piano, chest voice, left hand of piano. Here, arguably the most important line of the song, Why Don't You Say, the title of the song. In terms of harmony, threw me off. This was unexpected.
Why don't you stay?
We can hear dum dum just kind of acting as a drone in the bass. Just like in the introduction, it points towards unresolve, unresolution. We then get another run in the piano descending. And that's where you'd expect the chords to then resolve. Back to this G chord. But no, it stays unresolved, and instead they bring in more instruments. We get strings, we get the cello coming in, and strings of a guitar as well.
There's bruises and wounds, fractures on my bones.
And the guitar is very, very subtle. There's no percussion in this song, no drums, no beats. So the strumming of the guitar really is providing the most percussive element in there. And it's not quick strumming, because guitar strumming is a rhythmic pattern. So they've kept it very subtle, quite slow, quite relaxed. And the cello as well, just providing this sustained, rich timbre underneath everything. What I was just saying about the guitar, have a listen out here, you'll hear it. Like muted chords played purely for a bit of rhythmic injection in there. But also we have a nice little type thing in the guitar as well.
Just to be with you.
Did you hear that? The guitar. And almost like mimicking it or growing on this new idea, Jeff with his vocals starts making them a tiny bit more embellished.
Just you lying close.
With these little turns, they're called in music, where you go da 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 dum, where you go up and then down. And then just before we paused, now I don't have the context, so please let me know who is this other person we're seeing on the stage. We're seeing clips of other performances, so is the audio we're hearing a live performance, or is it done in a studio but made to look live in the video? Because we get vocal harmonies now. Is that this other person? Is it Jeff harmonizing with himself?
Let's be some for only you and I.
A nice unresolved chord, again, just before we paused, moving into the next chorus, and the sound growing there. Suspense. I'm ready to carry on.
'Cause I wanna stay on your side, even if the world come crashing down tonight. We'll be fine. Hold me close and we'll just live it up behind. Why don't you stay? No, right with me. Let me stay right. So
Chest voice. Wow. That last section really answered a lot of the questions I had from before. His chest voice, there we go. He does have a very, very high chest voice, actually. Some men can go that high. They are not naturally supposed to go that high. No, I phrased that badly, but it won't sound as nice. It sounds very strained. His does sound a little bit strained, but I like the tone of it. I like the timbre of it.
Let me stay right.
And this is high. He's going up to a C. That note, for context, is what I call a real wow moment for operatic tenors. The sound overall is obviously growing. Funny, I was talking about the guitar as well, acting as a sort of step-in percussion in the absence of drums. Now we have a bass guitar coming in, playing quite standard rhythms on the, strong beats. But that almost acts as a bass pedal type sound, a dum, dum, when it plays.
Let me stay right.
It's actually difficult to hear. I think the guitar is strumming every other beat, so every other beat is accentuated, but the bass guitar is dum, 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 dum. And in the electric guitar as well, we have these dissonant lines coming through, so longer sustained notes like here, which, in my opinion, just act as like dissonance, a bit of harmonic unrest. I was also asking if he harmonizes with himself. Well, we can see on the stage, we have these other singers, which becomes really obvious with this, for example. We have it's a chorus coming in now, a huge sound. In a way, it's kind of heartbreaking, this part of the song. The way Jeff's singing, there seems to be this underlying anguish, and the ending, we've been experiencing all this growth. He's moving higher in his chest voice for a more powerful sound, new instrumentation coming in, a chorus coming in. That airy head voice, everything else reduced. Well, there we go. Jeff Satur, a very nice introduction to him. I'm always curious about these arrangements. If he just writes the song and someone else arranges, or if he does everything, that's a whole other skill in itself. But I really do like his voice. And when he was singing higher in his chest voice, it was a bit of a blended voice. There was some head voice in there. There are other singers who just naturally transition from chest to head voice, and it's just so seamless. I liked how he was exaggerating many of the differences, again, depending on how loud he was singing or how powerful of a sound he wanted. But all in all, I thought that was a really nice song. A lot of variety, harmonically, structurally, rhythmically, texturally. Yeah, still a little bit unclear on how exactly the video is created, if this is all just a live performance. Maybe it's a live performance that they used for the video, but they also included some clips from another concert. All my questions, please let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you'd like to support me, you can do so by buying me a hot chocolate. It's starting to get cold now at the Buy Me a Coffee link below. Or if you'd like to join my Patreon, become a member, join the community, get access to exclusive content, you can do so by joining the Patreon linked on the screen now. And I will see you next time.